Pretty tight in here. Okay, there. Just have to Okay, who's going to tell me when we're... Are we ready? Okay. Good evening. Thank you all for coming this evening. My name is Jennifer Nimmer. I'm the legal director for the Ohio chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations. We called this press conference tonight to offer our reactions to the tragic events today at Ohio State. Although we don't know the motive of the perpetrator, like all of our fellow Columbus citizens, we are saddened and heartbroken by these senseless acts of violence. And we want to condemn in the strongest possible terms this and any other kind of senseless violent act. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families of the victims and all the staff and students at Ohio State. We want to thank the Columbus Police Department for their swift action and the OSU Police, which potentially averted a much bigger tragedy today. We would also like to urge everyone not to jump to conclusions and to let investigators do their job. Responding to such a senseless act of violence with hate is never the solution. And we hope that Columbus will continue to be a place where people of all religions and ethnicities can be treated with respect and dignity.
Roush, R-O-U-L-A-A-L-L-O-U-C-H. I'm the National Board Chair of CAIR, the Council on American Islamic Relations. As Ohioans, as Americans, and as Muslims, we are shocked by today's senseless attack. We stand together with Ohioans of all faiths and backgrounds in praying for the speedy recovery of all those who were injured in today's attack. We thank the police and first responders for their swift response in diverting what could have been a much larger disaster. We, as yet, know nothing about the motivation of the attacker, but we do know of his Somali heritage, and that will be enough for some people to falsely link this tragic incident to the faith of Islam and to the Somali and Muslim communities. We must not jump to conclusions. It is important to let the investigators do their jobs. We are strongest when we stand together as Americans. No one should fear for his or her safety on a college campus. Ohioans of every faith denounce and reject this attack. Our nation has gone through a period in which division and hatred have grown to unprecedented levels. We must not let the act of one individual, no matter what his motive or background, to further divide our community or our nation. Americans are strongest when unified and weakest when we allow fear and intolerance to come between us. We stand together today with Ohioans of all faiths and backgrounds and praying again for the speedy recovery of all those that were injured in today's attack. We cannot allow the horrendous and inexcusable actions of any individual to taint the way we view each other or treat each other, or even worse, to stand by as others use these incidents to justify attacks against others. Thank you.
Imran Malik, spelled I-M-R-A-N-M-A-L-I-K, representing Nur Islamic Cultural Center, its leadership and its community. On behalf of the leadership and the community of Nur Islamic Cultural Center, I stand here united with all the members of Ohio State University, staff, faculty, as well as those victims who have suffered through the injuries today and the families who are in our prayers and elevated thoughts and well wishes. We wish them all a speedy recovery, and as a nation, we definitely are here to support each other. We were Buckeye State, one nation on Saturday when we won against Michigan, and we are Buckeye State and Buckeye Nation today as we all stand united. Our hearts again go out to all those who actually suffered through witnessing the act of violence today, or through getting engulfed in the act of endangerment as well. Our gratitude and our endless thanks go to the Columbus Police, the Ohio State's leadership, as well as the leadership and the first responders at James Cancer Hospital as well, who were the first responders to actually take care of all the victims who were injured in this process. Again, we stand united. The Muslim community is a Buckeye nation, and we stand united, and that's our strength. diversity is our strength, and weakness and division is going to make us fall. That's the message we want to send out on behalf of our community and our leadership to all the Muslims and non-Muslims in Central Ohio and in the widespreads of Ohio as well. Thank you.
My name is Basim Gohan. That's spelled Basilgohar. I'm the president of the Omar ibn al-Khattab Mosque. As Ohioans, as Americans, and as Muslims, we are horrified by this tragedy and this attack. We condemn it in the strongest terms, and we stand here as Muslims to say this has nothing to do with our faith, and we stand with our Somali brethren that this has nothing to do with their culture or their heritage. We want to express our support to the victims, their families, to the Ohio State University, and to all of Central Ohio. We are all Buckeyes today, and we will do everything in our ability to help the students, the university, and the city to recover from this attack and to come out stronger. Speaking as a OSU alumnus, university campus is supposed to be a place of enlightenment, of education, of safety, and unfortunately today that was not the case. But thanks in no small part to the very rapid response of the OSU police force, what could have been a greater tragedy was averted, and we are very thankful for that, thankful for their effort, and grateful for that. However, we want to be careful not to jump to conclusions. We want to make sure that we let the investigators do their job. And we should not be blaming any one particular ethnicity or religion, and in this difficult time, know that we are stronger unified rather than divided. And once again, our hearts, our prayers, and our thoughts are with the victims and the families, and we wish them and pray for their speedy recovery. Thank you.
Mahdi Warsame. I'm the chairman of the board of directors of Masjid As-Salama. My name is spelled as M-A-H-D-I. Last name is Warsame, W-A-R-S-A-M-A. When it comes to the public safety of our community in Central Ohio, there's no Muslim community on one side and the rest of the communities on the other side. We are one community and we are all together in this. Many of us graduated from OSU and to all 2 classes from OSU, including myself. I have 2 children in OSU, and the first thing that came to my mind when I heard the news this morning was their safety. So the public safety of OSU is our public safety, and it's the public safety of all the communities in Central Ohio. There are many Muslim students in OSU. There are many Muslim professors at OSU, and we are visitors. There are many Muslim visitors every day in the campus of OSU. So when things like this happen, we are all grieving together, praying together, and asking for solutions together. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Abdul Nasser. I'm here representing IFCO, which is the Islamic Foundation of Central Ohio. As citizens of this great nation, we are indeed horrified by this attack, and we do indeed condemn it in the strongest possible language. We do support the families of the victims, Ohio State, Columbus, and Central Ohio. And indeed, we are all Buckeyes today. And if there's anything we can do to help the city and the university recover, we will. And again, we want to thank the police and law enforcement officials for their quick and wise response that had averted a bigger tragedy. We would like to ask everyone to please not jump to conclusions. There is an investigation. Let the investigation take its course. And let's not please blame any one particular religion or ethnicity, but stand together as a united community. Stand together. And when we stand together and trust each other, we are stronger as a community indeed. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Nicole Ghazi. It's Nicolghazi. and I'm here representing the community of the Polaris Masjid. I'm here on a particularly poignant day for me as well, as an alumni of the Ohio State University, as a mother about to send her two oldest children off in the next year to study at that university. It is particularly heartbreaking to see these random and senseless acts of violence come to a community that I hold so dear. Like my brothers from the various organizations spoke before me, we are absolutely here in solidarity with the Muslims of Central Ohio, with our Somali community of Central Ohio, as well as with everybody else in the greater Columbus area. We are a community that aspires to be good citizens, that aspires to work for peace, work for justice, and to make our community the kind of place we all want to live in. So while we absolutely condemn with words cannot express how strongly we condemn these horrifying acts, we also absolutely want to commend law enforcement and first responders that headed off potentially greater injury. And I also want to give a due respect to the training in place at The Ohio State University, that students were aware of how to keep themselves safe. It is something that very sadly all of us mothers know. It weighs heavy on our hearts that we have to train our children in these techniques. So while we stand together to work for peace, to work for a greater community, we are deeply saddened by the events of today. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Horset No, and I am the spokesperson of SICO, Somali Islamic Centers of Ohio. Today we all came here to condemn this tragic incident as Americans, as Muslims, and as Ohioans. It does not represent the beautiful culture and values of the Somali community, and it has nothing to do with the tradition of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of the names of God is As-Salam, the source of peace. The first public speech Prophet Muhammad said was, Ayyuhan nas ifshu salam, or people spread the peace. We Muslims are commanded to greet the people by praying for them and saying, may the peace of God be upon you. We are also here today to send our love and helping hand and support to the families who were victimized. We want to thank our law enforcement for preventing a major calamity. As Americans, we are very stronger when we come united. And when we are weak, when we succumb to the fears and the divisions and the when we don't live up to the values upon which this great country was founded. Thank you very much.
Hello, good evening. My name is Abdini, spelled as ABDI, last name DIINI. I'm a member of the Somali American community. I first want to join my brothers and sisters in condemning the horrific attacks that occurred today in our city. I also want everyone to know that we, the Somali American community, stand shoulder to shoulder with our fellow Americans in condemning the sickening act of violence that took place in our city earlier today. And any twisted mindset that would claim or justify such a sickening act of violence isn't a part of us. What an individual has, the act of an individual shouldn't be blamed for the rest of the community. Columbus is a very diverse city. It has been welcome into my community and the rest of the Muslim community. We want it to stay that way. We have a diverse community here. We have a large Muslim and non-Muslim in our city. And speaking of OSU, OSU is our home. We have some of the most graduates, Somali American graduates, are coming from out of OSU instead of any other college in the nation. So whatever an individual has acts of violence that they have committed shouldn't be blamed for the rest of our community, and there shouldn't be a backlash on Muslims, on Somalis, or any other ethnicity for that matter. Thank you very much for your time.
Good evening. My name is Zarqa Abid, spells Zerqaabid. I'm founder and president of My Project USA. This is a non-profit organization focused on protecting and empowering Muslim American youth against extremist violence, gangs, drugs, and other activities. We work heavily on the west side of Columbus, and that's the area which we have heard that the suspect might have been living there. We strongly, on behalf of My Project USA community volunteers, we strongly condemn the attack. We are horrified by what has happened today. As a mother of 2 graduates of OSU and having several volunteers and active youth members from our organization at OSU, this was a long day for me personally. We commend the police and OSU police and City of Columbus and law enforcement for how they handled the event. We at My Project USA have been working in training our youth into civic engagement to many other activities. We held a training in the beginning of this year about how to address the extremist violence in the community and how to take preventive measure. And we are very much willing and ready to do any actions, to do anything that we can to empower our community, to help the law enforcement, to help our city, to help OSU and the student body, to do whatever is needed to make sure that our community, larger community, is safe and sound. We encourage everybody not to jump to conclusion, not to because we are still waiting for the investigation to unfold. And regardless whatever happened, we know that gun violence is a major issue in our country. We know there's several lives every year, every day have been taken away because of gun violence. So we stay united with our larger community as Muslims, as Ohioans, as Columbus and Buckeyes, to make sure that we do every measure to save and secure our youth, our families, and our children in the neighborhood and at campuses like OSU and others. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. That concludes the press conference.
Or attacks on the Somali community, the Muslim community in Ohio as a result of this attack?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've seen that we're living in times where there's been increased violence against members of the American Muslim community, and we want to ensure that as Americans we stand strong together, united, and we don't allow the act of one individual to cause a backlash against others.
I mean, are you worried that there's going to be retaliation or attacks against Muslim Somalis?
Unfortunately, we've seen instances in the past where retaliatory acts have been taken. So we, again, want to encourage everyone not to jump to conclusions, to ensure that people allow the investigation to unfold, but again, to not allow one person's actions to speak for an entire group or community.
Could you talk very quickly about the history between the city of Columbus and the Somali refugees that the city has taken in over the years?
Certainly there's a large Somali community here in Columbus, and they've been participating as members of different parts of the community in many ways, contributing through their work, through their community service, through their activism. So they've been really positive members of the community. And I mean, you see the leadership here today and the members from the community here locally in Columbus, and really Somalis nationwide, I think, are specifically horrified by this attack and know that it doesn't speak for them or their culture or their community.